whatever is going on in Haiti does not require policemen. I don't think, and I need to understand what the Kenya police will be doing in an environment as such, in an environment as such,
in a warlike environment.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wanna go to Haiti? Mission aborted. Kenyans, Kenya police was supposed to deploy. So the Haitian Prime Minister was in Kenya a couple of weeks ago.
2 years.
Yeah, and
signed a treaty.
Signed a
agreement. Whatever it was.
It wasn't a treaty.
It was agreement. Whatever it was signed.
Whatever was signed.
Yes.
Was signed.
Yes.
And then while he was in Kenya signing, Barbecue and his gang told him not to come back. Yeah. They just told him, you've gone to sign those agreements, just don't come back. And I thought he was, they were just talking. Yeah, but he actually was not able to go back to the country.
He's in Puerto Rico as we speak.
Yeah, he was not able to go to the country, and he resigned. So now, right now, as we speak, the Haitians, or rather...
Barbecue is the leader.
Yeah, Haiti at the moment doesn't have any leadership.
Yes.
So this mission has been put on ice. And of course, this mission was being financed by the United States.
Not the UN?
By the Department of Defense. The UN was just giving, authorization that, yes, we endorse this plan. But I don't think there's any money the UN is giving. The money was coming from the Department of Defense and the US State Department. Those are the people who are giving the money. And I think Mika were earlier talking about this. Talk to us about this. Kuna down payment. Kenya walikuwa washapokea. Walikuwa washakula.
Yeah, so apparently today in Congress, the congressmen said no. They're not releasing the money that is supposed to be going to this Haiti nation because they felt that there was not much information in what they were being told what the money is going to be used. So apparently the whole budget's like 300 million. But out of that 300 million, there's a 50 million that is specifically earmarked to go to Kenya. Out of that 50 million, there's 10 million that was already paid to Kenya. And that 10 million was supposed to be used for the training of the officers who are going to Haiti. Now, the remaining 40 million was supposed to be paid to Kenya before the officers were deployed to Haiti. But now the Congress in the US today said that, first of all, there's a court case in Kenya that is stopping this deployment to go on, and they don't understand what Kenya is going to do there, how they're going to run that mission. They don't have any information about it, and they do not want to give the money to the Biden administration to give it out. So the deployment seems to have been stalled on two sides right now. So it's been stalled by the courts in Kenya, and it's being stalled by Congress here in the US. What I'm trying to figure out is, if there was a $10 million down payment that was paid, did anybody hear any news or any announcement that there was training for the officers who are going to be deployed in Haiti? Ama hido aliuno na imeingia kwa mfuko ya mtu.
Ife imekuliwa. And the reason why I say this, the last time, when this was kind of new, this news on Kenyan police deploying to Haiti, at that time, the cabinet secretary for foreign affairs was Alfred Mutua, and I remember him saying that they're gonna go learn French. So I don't know that people spotted them at Alliance Française learning French.
They were using Pierre Seydoux.
Or whether they were using Pierre Seydoux, I don't know. Now the interesting thing is that Mutua was saying they're going to learn French, yet Haitians speak Creole, which does have some French in it, but it's just like someone who's just learned Pierre Seydoux French, you cannot just deploy there and start talking to gang members and trying to negotiate with them to surrender their arms.
They'll say barbecue is it très malade?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, so I don't know whether the training was being done in secret, because part of what Congress has said is that the Biden administration has been unclear on what the mission is. So it seems like even the U.S. Congress here is in the dark. And this is where I also challenge Kenyan media sometimes.
This
like if $10 million had already been pushed, I've not heard, anyone on Kenyan media, talk about it, that we already have a down payment of $10 million. And this is meant for police training. I don't know, I could be wrong.
This thing,
but it was never mentioned. I don't think it was. You remember, it was actually a surprise reading it, and I asked you, wait, so 10 million was already given? Because I'm seeing, they're saying the budget is 50 million, but they're talking about 40 million that needs to be paid. Then they elaborated there that 10 million had already been paid for facilitating training of these officers, and I was like, okay, interesting. Because I've never heard anything about this.
So I think, honestly, what that 10 million was, because I don't know if this training happened, what that $10 million was, I honestly think it was a facilitation fee. I think it was a facilitation fee, and the reason why now it's coming out, this was reported on Reuters. This one was actually reported a couple of hours ago. I think when those people in Congress were looking at the books, they're like, Apana, something seems fishy here. Department of Defense has pledged 200 million. State Department has pledged 100 million. They already want 50 million before deployment, and 10 million has already been scooped out. So I think they were like, there's something we're not being told, because they lacked clarity. What is this money exactly going to do? And I'll tell you this, this is just from me making my observations in our city here. There's been a lot of officials coming from Kenya's, Department of Defense, coming, doing what's called, I don't know if it was benchmarking trips, but they were making a lot of trips here to the U.S., to the Department of Defense, to the State Department. I think that's where all this was being negotiated, and to soften them, I think that's where this facilitation fee might have been pushed out. But hey, this is something we don't know.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Whatever is going on in Haiti does not require policemen. I don't think, and I need to understand what the Kenya police will be doing in an environment as such, in an environment as such,
in a warlike environment.
Exactly, and supposedly heading the mission. So, and that's another thing that I don't think most people are interpreting that particular part over there.
Don't want it to become a military intervention.
Because here's the thing, you don't want it to become a military intervention. Because here's the thing, Yvonne Okoro did a segment last week on a take. There's a lot of unrest going on in Rift Valley. There's a lot of unrest in certain pockets of
Kapedo, Baragoi, and the north of
the rest. A lot of the borderlines of different tribes.
Yes, where can't police be deployed? Where can't our police be deployed there to maintain over there, to hold it down? Where can't they be the head of a mission to go there and quell things?
Because they get killed there. They get fried there.
So what's going to happen? So what is going to happen?
One thing,
Mika.
One thing we have to look at it this way is that whatever pocket of unrest that is in Kenya is considered insecurity. Kawaida, wizi, kunyonga, ngeta, nini, banditry, nini, it's all considered security. Like it's being put in the same bucket, right? If there's anything like Al-Shabaab crossing in once in a while, and then they look and compare at the number of times. And usually, if you that data is available. If you see the number of terrorist attempts they've thwarted in that country, it's pretty high. So its security index is really high, and there's that. But then all these other things that happen in Kenya are being just highlighted, being taken as insecurity, regular insecurity. To us, the people who live there, it's so bad. So we no, because we want no crime, but it's how it's being ranked and scaled compared to other countries. It's being looked at like this country has a very good security system working for it. So that is why they look at it as nobody wants a military intervention in Haiti. A military intervention in Haiti is going to make it bad for them to go back and rebuild and start taking money of the country as they used to be. Like, it's bad for business. So and then all countries that could do a military intervention are stretched thin out. Remember, there is a fight against Russia, which NATO forces have to fund. America doesn't have enough intake in the military as it used to be. These young guys, Gen Zs, are jeshi iko weak. Hatuna watu, so they will never risk putting boots in the ground anywhere. And that's why there's so many election season right now.
Yeah, and
so the thing is, the easiest thing right now is to look for a country that you consider that has a good ranking in security, and then doesn't look like it's a military power, it look like it's invading, and give it that face of go run. Obviously, they're going to be, the CIA is going to be there. All these agencies are going to be there helping the Kenya police in running what they're doing, how they're trying to turn back the country as it is. And that is why you see the guys like in a barbecue wanakataa because wanajua ni nini inakuja happen. Whoever is going to come there in that country with a foreign nation coming in to help them settle is going to be an installed leader. They don't want an installed leader. They want for themselves to be able to go and hold elections and run their country as they want. All these other people don't want that. So it's going to be a struggle of power. There's going to be this, and I think Congress is scared. And also right now, the Biden administration has to be put to task because it's campaign season.
Okay.
So you'll have to explain every decision you make.
All right. Wow. This is very, like, I don't even know what to say, but a couple of comments here have been coming in. Pablo says, Barbecue is Haiti's de facto leader at the moment. In due time, he will be sworn in as president and promise to call elections. But before that, he will be hosted at the White House by the U.S. president. It seems Pablo knows something that we don't. So Pablo, tell us more. And then Slay was telling utaumolimi omoshwachia hapo. Then Washeke says washakula fair.
Wow.
Afro-Jamaican says that's like sending me to Kenya to run a company that only speaks Swahili. Okay. And then Afro-Jamaican also says Canada sent money. So I don't know who they send money. Did they send money to Kenya or where did they send this money?
They might have been part of a larger
conglomerate.
A larger group.
Yeah. And then Afro-Jamaican father says there's that word again, facilitation fees, which is what that 10 million might have been.
Brown envelope, greasier fingers.
I think Afro-Jamaican is traumatized.
Right now, him and facilitation, they don't.
Yeah, him and facilitation fees don't mix.
They don't fee each other. Him and facilitation don't fee each other.
No, they don't.
And then
they don't fee each other.
Pablo says, is telling me, Ali Badawi, please don't ever think the Kenyan media can dig into stories that matter and provide feedback to the public. They get their news from X way after the same has broken, which is very true. Yes. Very unfortunately, even on things happening in Kenya, you will see foreign agencies reporting, and then
100,
and then you'll see, like a Kenyan media house is picking up
same exact thing,
footage from Al Jazeera,
word for word
from Al Jazeera, footage from Al Jazeera, and they're in Kenya. Al Jazeera is based in Qatar. So this is another topic that we can
highest mech.
Yeah. And then
Ali, before you continue with those things, something to consider or think about.
Yeah.
When Congress is sitting down and saying that we have sent out $10 million and now to Qatar we want to see, it almost seems like they're saying bring us a statement of work. Juu hatuoni ile kitu munaenda kufanya.
Yeah, because there's
nothing. There's no project plan. There's nothing. We don't have deliverables. We don't know what.
Hakuna scope.
Nothing. There's pesa. Just give us the money.
So they're like, hey,
give us money.
You want us to give you 200 meters, and there's nothing that we are seeing here because it's going in under DOD.
And when you think about it, when Congress puts a pause to that, at a time when there's other high priorities like Ukraine, like Gaza, it tells you that they thought that this was worth our attention despite all these big things going on, which tells us there's something deeper that we clearly don't know, and that's what we want to find out. Now Slay here is asking, did they ever mention what killed the police officer in DC? That has never
He
been
was
mentioned.
found in
And we
his,
shall never know.
He was found in his hotel room unresponsive.
Yes.
Period.
And that's it. That's all we know.
With a D and a T.
And
Alikufa uze.
and it was there at 39. You know, and this is a guy.
Yeah.
This is a guy who had just
He was
presented.
a commander, right?
He had made a presentation. He was some kind of police
He
commander.
was a commander.
He had made a presentation the day before. He was perfectly okay.
And he was very fit. So
Yeah.
bado tukubali.
Maybe.
But alisema alikufa uze.
Yeah, so yeah, that's another thing that we need to figure out. Now, Pablo here say, just to play devil's advocate, with this discussion about Haiti mission being otherwise well received, had it been the Kenyan military heading there?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think either way we would have still felt the same way, because nobody can really tell us what these guys are going to do, and that's the same issue.
I think the only difference, if it was the military going, I think the
No,
difference
if it was
would
the
have been-
military, I guess what Pablo is asking, back home, if it was the military that was going, people would be fine with it. They'll be very fine with it, because the military in Kenya has been known for so many peacekeeping missions.
But this is
Now,
not
in
termed as
America,
peacekeeping, right?
yeah.
In America, it would still have been a problem, because it means it's still they're funding the mission.
And
And right now, the thing of money leaving this country is a very dicey topic.
You know, I think part of the reason why America agreed to this arrangement, and this might have been America's idea of getting police rather than the military, when you're getting a military of another country, it's a bit more complicated.
Correct.
Yeah.
It looks like an invasion.
Yeah, it
You know,
looks like an invasion.
Basically, it's just a proxy.
And,
It looks
and
like
you're
an
going to need
invasion.
much
Yeah.
more oversight and agreements to say, okay, we are now actually removing our military from inside our borders
Yeah.
protection, ndio waende nje somewhere else. And it's not a peacekeeping mission.
Yeah.
This is not a peacekeeping mission.
It's definitely not a peacekeeping
No, it's
mission.
not.
So that's where I think, you know, like there's some detail, there's some secret details here that will be revealed now that this is in Congress. Unajua Congress no pali ya toboa. Once the people from the Department of Defense and the State Department are called upon for those congressional hearings, if that happens, I don't know that this is going to get to a congressional hearing, but if that happens, that would be a very interesting congressional hearing, because that's where beans are normally spilled.
Tutakuwa masikio huko.
Yes, we'll be paying attention. Now, Pablo also says, so I've already read Pablo's comments. Afro-Jamaican is asking, is there any independent reporting from Haiti? I don't even know, you know, like whether, I know there's these media houses that always go to dangerous places like Al Jazeera, and a couple of other international media houses. So, but I don't know about independent reporting.
Yeah,
you know,
they've
like we're
not-
talking
they
about.
have really not been reporting from Haiti.
It's not the issue with Haiti. It's been happening when there are other priorities for media.
Correct.
Ukraine, Gaza, you know, like so many other things happening in the world. So it has fallen under the radar, just like Sudan. Sudan has fallen under the radar
Wow.
because
Sudan
of
has been-
yeah.
It's even not even
it's
the,
even
it's not
way-
even the,
way
the
ahead.
You know, most
stratosphere.
people don't realize that Sudan is the biggest proxy war between the US and Russia.
Yes, that's the
Yes.
biggest proxy war that's currently happening. So the world is really under fire at the moment. This is the closest we've been to a third world war.
Correct.
Since the end of the Second World War.
For more information, go to the Thinking Muslim
Yes, there's a
and thank Ali later.
yes, there's a YouTube page, a podcast called The Thinking Muslim. They always talk about these issues happening in Muslim geopolitical issues happening in Muslim
Ilambaya.
countries.
You start seeing Al Bashir from a different lens.
Yes, you start seeing him from a totally different lens.
Totally different.
Yes,
But listen,
Yeah.
you know, just just go to the Thinking Muslim. It's I think the first or the second. It's one of the ones.
it's
talking
one of the
about
recent. It's a very recent
most
video.
recent, and the guy on there.
He's
He's
called Sami Hamdi. He's
that guy is
a
on a-
political risk analyst.
Let me tell you, that
Yeah.
guy is on
that
another
that
level.
guy is on fire.
Where?
Yeah. Anyway, let me see here. Afro-Jamaican is saying it was announced that Canada sent money to Kenya for the mission. Wow, this is new to me.
Afro-Jamaican, that was facilitation fee. Yo imeenda hiyo.
Facilitation fee, and it was your taxpayers. It was your taxpayers' money, Afro-Jamaican.
Yo imeenda
unfortunately.
hiyo.
So you've partly, just the same way like we as Americans have funded, whether we like it or not, we have funded a genocide, and we funded the war because it's taxpayers' money, whether we like it or not.
We have funded the butcher of Gaza.
Yes. And then Afro-Jamaican says you can't believe any of them. Washeke says died of natural causes. So wow. So this Haiti issue, I honestly think this was a gift from God. This happening and pausing our Kenyan people from going there, because I think this is a very bad experiment that that the US is trying, and US has no problem of doing experiments and sacrificing other people, because like Mika said, I strongly believe, I don't think in Haiti there was a plan to have an OCS Uko commanding the group Nini. It was Americans who are gonna be commanding. They would have been in control of everything. And I think that's why there's a lot of suspicion from Congress, because they just wanna know, tell us, even if it's in a classified session, tell us what is going on here. And I think this is also something that Kenyan media needs to do a little bit of better reporting on this for Kenyans to understand, like what the implication for Kenya might be if we start engaging in such activities. Rumor has it, and this is rumor, like I've been telling you, we've been seeing a lot of government officials come back and forth to DC, like every now and then. Rumor has it, and then like I said, this is rumor, that the US is also looking for partners in the Red Sea. And guess what's happening in the Red Sea? It's the Houthi rebels.
Oh, Lord.
Yes. So most of these other major powers, they have refused because their hands are tied.
Those guys are not playing, eh?
Those guys are not playing.
Those Houthi guys, they are not playing.
So China and Russia have joined that melee in the Red Sea. They have also deployed ships over there.
Yeah, they're deployed ships.
It's not known.
It's not known. It's not known. And think about it. American soldiers have already been killed. There are those who are killed. There are those who are killed in Jordan. In Jordan, I think it might have been friendly fire. But then in the Red Sea, there's two or three American soldiers. They drowned while trying to, in the dark of night. I think they're either trying to capture those guys or something. It also wasn't clear. But American soldiers have already dead.
That was when it was under a drone attack.
It was under a drone attack.
Fire in a ship, and I think they died trying to fight that fire.
Wow. Okay. So this right here is very problematic, and I just hope we don't get into ourselves in a situation as Kenya that we cannot get out of. And this is where I say
that is what is going to happen, Ali, because right now, if you look at the, if you go to a recruiter's office right now for the Navy and the Air Force, they take high school.
Say that again.
High school. They're taking high school diplomas right now. The Air Force and the Navy used to take college diplomas. They never took high school diplomas. Now they are. People are not enlisting in the military in this country. The young generation, they're making money doing different things. They're not working in factories. They're doing
online creating content.
And that is why Republicans are going with that propaganda that immigrants are being let in to take over regular jobs in America and things like that. But the military is the worst performing government agency in the country right now. People are not joining that thing. Kids are not joining. They don't want to die. They don't want to serve.
And parents don't want their kids to join anymore.
Even parents don't want their kids to join anymore.
Yeah.
So they're really doing bad in numbers.
Yeah, I mean,
they're doing bad in numbers. So all these proxy wars are going to be. This is going to be the new war right now. And this is not an American problem only. Gen Zs hawataki vita, haoni haja ya kupigania mtu mwenye hajui ni nini. So proxy wars are the new wars that are going to be happening right now.
And you see, generally, American politically, because of the adventures in Iraq and in Afghanistan that led to so many people dead based on false information, there's no appetite on both parties of sending American boots on the ground, which is why Biden, even in his speeches, is very careful to say that no, even the assistance they want to give to Gaza, he was very specific that there will be no American boots on the ground. Yeah, because there's no longer any mood for that.
Yeah, I think that he had to say that our Congress was going to come up in arms.
Yeah. So hapa naona Lawrence Muya is saying military enlistment had a deficit of 40K last year. What I'm afraid of is for the draft to be reinstated, but I think most people here are safe.
Yeah, what happens? Drafts can never work in this time.
It's still there. It's still there in the law.
Watu watahepa.
Yeah, hii time ya human rights. Yeah.
People watahepa because I think it's up to 35 years old.
Yeah.
Watu watahepa.
Yeah.
Up to 35.
Yeah.
Watu
watahepa.
Yeah.